Okay.
This is part 3.
Yes, and it's been a few weeks since we made part 2, so now is a good time to remind ourselves what was happening. So, what's your name?
Wag.
Wag, and what's Wag? Wag is?
A pirate mouse.
A pirate mouse. And what's your real name?
Reuben.
You're Reuben, yeah. And what's your real name?
Lisa.
Okay, and who's your character for today, Lisa?
She's called Mary Flight, and she is an elf fairy.
An elf fairy, there we go. And can you guys remember, very quickly, what were we doing last time?
No.
Oh, go on then.
We went into the deep dark wood, and then we found our way into the Wood of Seasons.
Found your way into the Wood of Seasons, and why is it called the Wood of Seasons? Yeah.
Because there are 4 kinds of seasons, and there are 4 parts of the seasons. We have summer, spring, winter, and autumn. And in that wood, you can go into the summer part. You can go into the spring part where all the flowers are. You can go into the snowy part where the winter is, or you can go to where all the leaves are falling and turning yellow.
Okay. And how are you getting on with the wood? Is it easy to get through?
No.
No, it's very hard to get through so far. But you have got a map, and on your map is written a clue, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you remember what it says? It says
to find the crown,
walk
back
through
the wood, starting now.
So, to find the crown, walk back through the wood, starting now.
How is that going to help? Starting now.
I don't know. But where we last left you, where were you? I think you were back in...
Summer.
You were back in summer, were you? And there were some ladies holding hands and dancing. And you were wondering what to do next. So, Wag the Pirate Mouse, Mary Flight, what are you going to do next?
Well, I got an idea. To go from summer, we go to the crown. Yeah. Which is in the middle.
Okay, you're going to go straight to the crown.
Yeah.
Can you roll your navigating dice, and can you roll your map reading dice?
Which is navigating?
It's got 8 sides, so it's that one.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
2 and... Oh, I'm not lucky normally, but...
Oh dear, a 2 and a 1. You set off in search of the crown. It shouldn't be very far, but the further you go, the more it feels like you've not really gone anywhere, and the hotter it gets. It's getting hotter and hotter and hotter. You're really thirsty. You could really do with a drink, and you're starting to get dizzy from the heat. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Go back. Oh, we could drink some water. Of course we have water cans.
Well, I think it's so hot you've probably used them all up already, and it seems to be taking forever to get anywhere.
Now we're going back.
You try and go back, Wag.
No. I'm still gonna try it.
You're going to try and keep going?
Yep.
Okay, you can roll your navigating dice again. Mary, are you going with him? Because he is pressing on.
4. 4 and 4. That worked.
Well, you push on as far as you can. And do you remember last time when you kind of had that feeling that you could tell when the magic happened and suddenly you weren't where you were supposed to be anymore?
Yeah.
Well, that's happened again. You have the feeling that the crown must be just around the next corner, and all of a sudden there's a strange feeling of some magic happening, and you're back looking at the ladies dancing their dance.
Unbelievable. Wait,
The good news is there's a fountain here and you can have a nice long drink of cool water.
Then we'll do my idea.
What's your idea?
I think because we could go like this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if we come here through another entrance somewhere else, not like this, but maybe like this, we can get to here, and maybe when we're here, it seems that we can only get to the crown.
Okay, how are you going to try and do this?
Well, we could walk back to here,
Yep.
where we started. And then we can go all the way down here and then go in.
And try and get into. You want to try and get into autumn, do you?
Yeah, and then we go to winter.
Okay. Well,
So we're going like this.
you can. Yeah, you can roll your navigating dice again
Yeah.
to see if you can. Okay. Wag.
No,
Wag.
we're going.
You can roll your
like
navigating
this.
dice. You can roll your navigating dice, Reuben. See if you can get out of the wood and find your way around.
Oh.
Oh dear, you set off. You're looking for the way out now
I've got a 4
on map reading, huh?
for map reading. So I think I'll do it.
Well, here's what happens. Wag is trying to know the way, and he's got a compass, and he's following his compass. And he walks and he walks, and he's sure that the way out must be just over here. And all of a sudden, you check on your map, and you think, well, that must be there, and this must be there, and you're right back next to the way into spring again.
Spring?
Yeah.
Oh.
You can see just another few steps, and you'll see all the spring flowers are blooming.
But if we go into spring
never gonna
and
let us
then
go
out
somewhere. Through the wood.
if we go in spring and then out.
But what do you mean we walk back?
Well, you can go into spring if you want. It looks like it's just there.
Well, if we go and try to go here, of course we'll have to go to through the swarm of birds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could risk it. That.
Maybe you just need a clever plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Daddy, we've no idea what we're doing.
Okay. Are you going to go into spring?
Yes.
Fine.
Okay. You set off and you stride purposefully into spring, and pretty quickly again you can hear the sound of singing, and it's those ladies again. Only this time, of course, they're wearing different dresses.
Yeah.
They do look kind of the same, but they're wearing bright green dresses with colourful spring flowers tied into their hair, and they're singing a very happy song. And you can hear lots of birds chirruping and chirping in the trees as well.
Can we just risk it to go like...
One of them looks at you. Come and dance with us. Come and dance. Spring is a time for dancing and making merry.
We were actually wondering how we can get to the winter in the season in the wood. Because we're here, but now it's spring. We actually want to get to the winter.
From spring, simply walk backwards from now until you reach winter.
So except we're going, because we're looking that way, we're going forward, we have to turn our backs and then walk backwards that way.
In the wood of seasons, directions have nothing to do with which way you walk.
So I just have to turn like this and then move.
Yeah. Good idea.
Fine.
What are you going to do?
No, we're going to walk backwards like this.
You're going to walk backwards, and where are you trying to walk backwards to?
The winter. No idea.
Okay.
And now throw all the leaves and sow off your clothes.
What about my wings?
Yeah, you
As
walk,
well.
Of leaves.
you walk backwards. You can
Yeah.
hear lots of chirping and tweeting. It does sound like the birds are very busy over there. You're getting closer. What are you going to do?
Run backwards.
You're just going to run.
Yeah.
See how fast you can go.
Backwards.
What are you going to do, Wag?
Run backwards.
Okay, so for you, that's roll your jumping and climbing dice.
Jumping
And
and
for
climbing.
you, that's probably your flying skills, isn't it?
That's this one.
8.
I don't know which one it
Okay,
is.
well,
Is it this one?
that flying skills is 10 sides. That's that one.
Okay, that's this one. Oh, 2.
Oh dear.
That's one.
Wag, you put your head down, you pull your hat tight over your ears, and you run backwards as fast as you can. I think probably using your tail to feel out the way.
Yeah.
You run and you run and you run, and you hear the birds twittering and cheeping, but they're not paying you too much attention. Mary, you run backwards as well, but then you start to panic and you think, I could go even faster if I flew. And so you jump up and you start to fly. But that gives you away. The birds see you and they swoop down. They start pecking at your hair and trying to grab things from you. It's getting really hard to keep going. What are you going to do?
Use my nature magic to make a sort of shield around me made of leaves so they can pick at that.
A
But not
shield
at
of
me.
leaves. Oh, that's a great idea. Roll
So
your
they
nature
can pick
magic
at that
dice.
any time, but they won't see at me.
10. So gusts of magic wind sweep up all the leaves from the floor and swirl them round and round and round your head. The birds are delighted. They start grabbing hold of all these leaves and flying off with them to make nests. And so you suddenly realise it's got very, very cold.
Yay, we're in winter!
And something goes crunch under your feet. And you look around and it's all snowy.
Yes! Now to the training ground!
That we could go.
Okay.
Oh, it's just we need to get
Now-
through all of them before we can go there.
Here you look around and you can see the trees have got no leaves. There is ice hanging off them. There's snow under your feet. It's a crisp and cold winter's day. The sun is shining very brightly
Are there ladies somewhere?
and you can hear some ladies singing.
I think there need to be ladies in every different season.
This time they're singing a kind of, it sounds a bit like a Jingle Bells sort of Christmas song.
Jingle bells. Not doing bells.
Although it's not winter.
What are you going to do?
We're going to the next season. And then walking sideways. No, it says walk back, so we're still going to walk backwards.
You're going to walk backwards.
To here.
And then we're going to the Dran ground.
You're going to walk backwards towards autumn. Okay.
And to the Dran ground.
Yeah, I think we should go backwards to the ground. But first we're going to go to autumn.
Okay.
Alright.
Autumn.
Well, you set off backwards again. Once more, can you roll your map reading dice? And
Okay,
can
that's
you
not
roll
gonna go well.
your navigating dice?
Whoa, I got a 5.
Okay, and your navigating dice?
Ah.
Oh,
Roll that
one goes
again.
Although it was 9. Oh no, it was 6. 7.
a 7. Okay. So Wag very skillfully navigates. You keep check on the map so you know exactly where you are, and you find your way through the wood, which is all very cold and wintry.
Ooh.
And then it suddenly gets a bit warmer. And
Hooray!
the crunching of snow under your feet is replaced with a crunching of fallen leaves. And indeed, when you look up at the trees, all around you are red and golden and brown leaves,
We're
all
amazing!
glistening in the sunshine. It's a bit muddy. It feels like it's probably just rained.
Oh, wait.
And there's lots of berries and things hanging
And
out
there's
in
ladies
the
again.
undergrowth. And you can see some ladies. There's 4 of them. They're wearing brown and red and golden dresses, and they're dancing round and round in a circle, and they're singing.
Why do you need to keep singing? You're
Autumn.
not really happy when it's in the autumn, because then the summer's good.
Autumn is a harvest time. Autumn is a time for singing about berries and nuts and making preparations for winter.
Okay, that seems pretty. Yeah.
Would you like to dance with us, young Mary?
No.
How do you know my name?
You've been here so long. We've learned so much about you.
We've been only into summer. We've been into spring, and we've been into.
You are now in the 4th season of the wood. You've been here nearly a whole year. You've walked backwards from summer to spring to winter to autumn.
Okay, we're gonna go to the right one. Remember, we're gonna walk backwards and we're gonna walk to the middle.
So from to there.
No, like to here. Like,
Okay, that's what you're going to do. You
Backwards.
set off in that direction.
Backwards.
As you go, walking carefully backwards, the ladies look at you and they sort of giggle a bit. Oh, look, they really are walking backwards. Oh, how delightful. I never thought anyone would try that. Goodness, do you think they really know what they're doing?
of course we know what we're doing.
Well, good luck, Sir Mouse. Good luck, young elf.
I'm an elf fairy. You don't even know what I am.
And off you go.
You can look sideways. Oh, wait, let's go backwards.
Now, as you get further towards where you're pretty sure the Dragon Crown should be, or at least this bit of the map is, it starts to get very thick and tough going. There's lots of bushes and spiky, brambly things, and it's getting hard to make progress. What are you going to do?
Navigate.
Nah, I'm gonna use my daggers to cut through.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Oh, and then I'm going to use my sword.
Okay, you can do that, and you can roll
That's
your
a
swashbuckling
5.
dice. A 5.
And
Okay.
5.
Yeah, so
5. 10.
with a lot
5
of
plus 5 is 10.
swishing and hacking and cutting of vines and brambles, you make your way further forward. It's still very hard, but you are making progress. And then you find yourself facing a big stone tablet, and carved on it are some words.
What sort of words?
The first thing it says is, to capture the Dragon Crown, you must first pass 3 tests. The first test is a test of bravery.
Okay, we're gonna do
And there's
this
a
bit.
kind of path just next to the crown,
Okay,
heading
cool.
into a very deep and dark looking part of the forest.
Okay, cool. We're gonna go. And we're gonna keep shelter under the ground. I can just make like the ground rise so I have like a tunnel.
You want to do that? What do you think, Wag?
Yeah, good.
Fine. We're doing it.
Okay.
If I works. No, it doesn't
Ooh,
work.
oh, okay. Well, Mary casts a spell, and sure enough, a tunnel of earth appears just above the ground, exactly the right shape for you guys to walk through. And so off you set into this tunnel towards, finally, the Dragon Crown. But you haven't gone very far when the end of the tunnel suddenly goes dark, and you turn round and the other end of the tunnel has gone dark as well. What are you going to do?
Big fire?
How?
Magic?
Okay, you're going to do a magic fire. What are you going to do, Work?
Yay, just enough. Make myself fire.
No idea.
Got a free,
Okay.
I got a free.
Well, Mary, what does it look like when you make fire with your magic?
Red like spurts up from the ground.
Okay, so red flames spurt up from the ground. Wag, you can suddenly see that the reason it's got dark is because the tunnel is slowly caving in and the earth is falling and it's getting closer and closer to you. Pretty soon you guys are going to be buried in this tunnel. What are you going to do?
I'm gonna try to make a tunnel and push it out with my sword.
We can make a tunnel by
You're a
like-
mouse. I think that kind of thing might work for a mouse.
Oh, Daddy, I
Can you give a roll on your, I think this is jumping and climbing dice.
Woo!
1. Wag digs for all his might, as hard as he can, but the cave-in is just going too fast, and suddenly you are both trapped in the earth and you can feel it piling in on top of you. What are you going to do?
I could use my daggers to like make a hole so that all the earth comes like down and then go up.
Okay, what are you going to do?
Do the same, but myself.
Okay, you can roll your swashbuckling dice. Yeah, that's that one. And you can roll... Oh, you can pick that up and roll it again.
This was.
Oh, alright, roll that one and then pick the other one up.
6.
One again.
Okay, Mary, you use your dagger and you struggle and push and you push. Oh, and finally some daylight. Your tunnel wasn't very thick, and so you take a happy, deep breath of air. You've got
And
your
then
head.
going up again.
You've got your head out of the ground, but you can't see Wag anywhere. Although you can,
Here's some squeaking.
you know he was right next to him, and you can hear some squeaking. What are you going to do, Wag? You're horribly stuck now, really, truly buried.
Oh, I can help. I can help.
What are you going to do?
I'm gonna make the hole a bit bigger so that we can get out as well.
And how are you going to do that?
The same.
Okay, so you're going to.
No, I have a better idea. Your nature can go carry me up.
You're in the earth. It's
Yeah.
very hard to do that.
What are you going to do?
I'm gonna just like do it. 8.
Oh,
Nice
okay.
number dice.
So that is the biggest number on the dice.
Please.
So, Mary, you dig frantically as fast as you can, trying to get Wag out of the hole, and phew, you found his tail, and then you found his hat, and then you found his nose. Wag, you can breathe again, thank goodness. Mary pulls you out of the ground.
Hello!
But now you're deep in this dark forest. It's so dark you can barely see anything at all, and there are
We gotta
shadows
light a
around and
torch.
about,
Light a
getting
torch.
closer and closer.
Light a torch.
Light a fire.
A torch.
Fire.
No, if you have like, it is fire, but then it's on a stick, so you can hold it.
You want a burning stick.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
So we just need to find a stick and
A big stick.
Okay.
so nature.
You're going to roll your nature magic to do it?
Yeah. Ta-da-ta-ta, 4
The torch
success.
bursts into light. Wag, you can suddenly see all these shadows rushing towards you. They've got outstretched arms and looks like claws, and they're coming to get you. What are you going to do?
Fight
I'm going to
them.
use my shadow to defeat them.
Wow, that's so cool. Okay, roll your swashbuckling dice.
So I just need to stand a bit further than them and use my shadow to defeat them.
Wow, roll it.
Number 4.
Oh, brilliant. So Wag stands in front of Mary's torch, so he casts a shadow too. And then instead of fighting these shadows directly, he moves his arms and his shadow moves, and with his shadow, he fights off the frightening creatures. For a moment, it looks like he might be forced back by them. There are so many of them, but then a thrust, a parry, and they've gone. You feel a sort of sense of relief, and in front of you, you can see another stone.
Yay! We're amazing.
I defeated the next test.
What does it say?
It says, if you would capture the dragon crown, you must now complete a test of cunning,
What means cunning?
cleverness, wits.
We're quite clever.
Being wise. Okay, that's nice. Which one is it? Well, I like to be clever in sons.
You go a bit further, and you meet, well, she looks a lot like one of the ladies. She's actually wearing all different colours. She's got white gloves, like the ladies in winter. She's got a bright yellow top. She's got a green skirt. And she's got a golden brown scarf wrapped around her. She looks at you and smiles. Hello. Are you here to find the crown?
Yes.
Well, I'm afraid I have to administer a test of cunning. But if you've got here, it should be easy. Do you have a map?
Yes.
Yes.
Does it have a riddle upon it?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Can you explain to me how you solved the riddle?
And we asked the other ladies that were in the spring how we could get to winter. And they said, walk back. And then we realised we had to walk backwards. So we went through all 4 seasons backwards, and then we got here.
You really walked backwards.
Now like this.
Oh, you didn't have to do that. I'm not sure you've understood this at all.
Doesn't matter, we got here.
But you must explain it to me. Otherwise, how do I know you are wise enough to take the crown?
By 10% times 20.
I'm sorry, but the question is the question. You can't dazzle me with mathematics.
First it says to find the crown. Well, we know what we need to look for, the dragon crown. Then it says walk back.
Back.
When you say back, you think you have to walk the other way. So if you walk the other way, and then in seasons, first you get summer, then you get spring, then you get winter, and then you get autumn. So if you shouldn't have walked backwards, you should have walked in another way.
And when should you start your walk?
When you are
Starting now.
now, and then when you begun now, because it said starting now.
So your answer is that you have to walk back through the order of the seasons.
Yeah.
And you have to start when exactly?
Well, when you get in there, you have to walk. And when you start there, you already have to be walking, because you have to walk at once, because you have to start now. But we aren't starting now because we're already here. So we had to start the second we were in there.
Do you remember what season it was when you came into the wood?
Summer?
Yeah.
So the start in summer.
When would you have had to start if it was winter?
If it was winter, then start the winter.
Says
so
the
it
lady.
matters which seasons. Which season it is, there you have to start.
Yeah.
Fine. Yep.
Lady looks at you. Well, that took you quite a lot of working out, you two adventurers. But well done. You have solved my riddle, and you can go further.
Thanks.
Be careful with the crown. It's very powerful. And she points the way further down the path.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, young adventurers.
Come on, come on, Wag. Where you going? Come here. Sorry.
Wag and Merry Flight make their way further into the very centre of the Wood of Seasons. It's strange here. One moment you feel cold and there's snow under your feet, the next moment it's hot summer's day, it's spring or it's autumn, everything seems to run together here. You can hear the singing of all the different ladies now, almost all the time.
But
Where's that other stone?
And ahead of you, you can see a huge oak tree. So thick, 5 people holding their hands would barely be able to stretch their arms around it.
Shouldn't you then use 6?
So tall, you can barely see the top of it.
You just need long legs.
The tree is huge, and it seems to be experiencing every season at once. Some parts of it are bare branches, some parts of it are thick with leaves, some are covered in acorns, some are just budding,
I think
leaves just coming out.
the tree is called the Tree of Seasons.
Well, that's certainly what you can call it. What are you going to do? You're sure this is the very middle of the wood?
But we had to go through 3 tests. So maybe there's something written on the tree? Because we've only done 2.
Yeah.
You go up to the tree. And as you get closer to the tree, you can hear a squeaking noise.
Squeaking?
A squeaking noise. It sounds like it's a squirrel.
Squirrel. Oh.
A squirrel.
The Squirrel of Seasons.
They only come they mostly come in autumn. Yes, fine.
There's an animal of every season.
You look around for the squirrel. You suddenly spot it. It's held fast in the claws of a great eagle.
Yeah, but we still don't know
The
what the
eagle
test
is holding the squirrel with one claw. Looks like it's probably about to eat it. In its other claw, you can see an iron circle carved in the shape of dragons. What do you do?
Fight it down. Then we're going.
Is that a handy idea? Because maybe it could help us.
It pauses briefly before it eats the squirrel and looks at you. What do you do?
Maybe I can speak what I speak and then ask if. Hello?
Oh, hello. What are you doing here?
Well, we want to do the 3rd test to capture the dragon crown.
Oh, well, I don't know anything about a 3rd test. I'm just about to eat this squirrel. As for the dragon crown, I have it here.
What do we have to do to get it?
To get it? I don't know that you have to do anything to get it. It's mine.
Why is it actually called the dragon crown since it's owned by an eagle?
I found it here. It's been mine for some time. Now, if you don't mind, the squirrel is squeaking. It looks terrified. It's clearly about to be devoured. What are you going to do?
Try to
I think
fight
the only thing we should do is kill the eagle. So
It
we
looks
can get the
big
dragon
and mean.
crown.
Okay.
Yeah, not very happy about this.
Maybe the only thing we need to do is try to fight the eagle to get it. fight it to get it.
Yeah, just
Okay, what are you going to do?
we're gonna fight it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The eagle's looking a bit bored. He's about to eat the squirrel. How are you going to do that?
I'm
We're
gonna
gonna
shoot
do that.
You're going to shoot your pistol.
out of the tree.
Okay, and what are you
So
going
I'm
to do?
gonna climb into the tree of seasons. Which
I'm
dice?
gonna use my
This
nature
one.
magic to
Oh.
make lots of earth make lots of a cage around it so that of trees so that
Okay.
it can't get out.
All right, roll that.
But then the stone is there in there as well.
Okay. So Wag draws his pistol, climbs carefully into the tree, and then tries to shoot the eagle. Bang! But the eagle flaps its wings and springs to one side, taking the squirrel and the crown with it. But it doesn't get very far because all of a sudden the branches of the trees start to wrap themselves around it, caging it in. The eagle turns to you. Is this so important, this crown, that you would threaten my life?
We need it,
Yeah.
our king.
Well, I will make you an offer. Which would you rather have, the crown or the squirrel?
The crown.
The eagle, the crown, and the squirrel all vanish. And that is the end of today's session.